All right, welcome to the Circle Grace One. I'm your host, Chief Principal Teacher and Founder, Brother Francis Z. Revels-Bey. I am the founder of the Circle Grace One, which was founded on July 2nd, 1999 AD, under the aegis and the anointing of the Angel of Grace through divine providence. Gave birth to his very own spiritual and metaphysical institute called the Circle of Divine Grace and Remembrance on February the 7th, 2009. So I am the founder, chief principal teacher, host, and bishop of both, which means head instructor as well, or master. And what I'm going to talk about this evening is about transforming our consciousness, transforming ourselves. And before I do that, I want to say, of course, greetings of divine grace and remembrance. Tonight is going to be a short program. We usually come on at 5 or 6. Try to be on at 5, but there's so much that's going on out here that by the time 5 rolls up, it's 6 o'clock. So I'm on this evening and want to give just a brief program tonight so that it's more concise. And of course, we will have a meditation involved. Well, before we get started, let me open up with prayer. Through divine power and by divine grace, may you see yourself right now, this very moment, may you see yourself already blessed, already healthy, wiser, and more understanding. May you know that faith in the divine truth of who you are, may you know that faith in the divine truth of who you are is your true value, and may you realize often that you're always remembered. Be well, be happy, be empowered, for today and of this day moving forward, you shall always be blessed and beyond. Amen. And so are you at this very moment. Well, this is the 31st day of March, the last day of this particular month of the calendar year. And in numerology, the number 31 means deep contemplation and even deeper meditation on that which is more spiritual and metaphysical and not just materially on the physical side. 2014 is a 7, universal 7 year. This is the year of perfection, creating better wholeness and completion in our lives. It's all about working on ourselves and coming to the realization of learning how to heal ourselves. Healing brings wholeness. We look at the universal year 2014. We say 2014, but I say 2014. So we hear 20 and then 14. Well, 20 is the number of transformation, great transformation. And that's what we're going through right now. Everybody's making a lot of changes going on in their lives. Some people feeling like they're being forced to make a change. And how's that? Sometimes people are getting laid off from work, losing their jobs, maybe a health situation with a family member falls down upon them, or maybe the foreclosure issues, things of that nature are, keeping people away from what they need to do. So this is essential that people may want to move toward having a greater value for themselves, move forward in that. And so one of the ways in which people could do that is allow themselves to take a good look at themselves. I just want to let people know what the talk is about this evening. And I'm going to call it here in the chat room, transformation leads to restoration. Because what happens is our life becomes restored. And when our life becomes restored, it becomes restored because we have a sense of value that is stepping back into our life. When we have a sense of value that steps back into our life, that helps us gain a more prosperous life, a more abundant life. But we couldn't have it until we restored that pure essence back to ourselves, the awareness. So tonight's program is Transformation Leads to Restoration. And this is something that we want to really begin to pay more attention to for ourselves. Now, one of the things as we do that, we look at the 20, which I said is transformation, which is change, changing your form, how you view and how you see yourself, changing that form. 14 is balance and temperance, which is moderation. So you're reaching upward with the higher mind to recognize the higher consciousness that is available to you, that is you, that comes into your well being. And understanding this as your higher self or the soul or the spirit nature of yours, some people call the Holy Spirit. And so we're recognizing that this is a part of who we really are. This is what we're leaning toward. And life, or the energy and the experiences of life itself, brings us many challenges. And we see that every day. You've got maybe some challenges where you're having misunderstandings with loved ones, family members, siblings, uh, maybe your neighbor, maybe a coworker, maybe your employee or your boss. Uh, and it just goes on and on and on. Maybe you're out there driving in traffic and you get stuck in traffic and you go through, you see people experience road rage, all of these things we're in the midst of. So we eventually learn in order to transform ourselves so that we step back into a state of restoration, we eventually find out that a deeper sense of prayer, a deeper sense of meditation helps us to get a deeper understanding, a deeper knowing of who we are and who we are becoming, but who we should be more of. And which is really just getting back to the basics, getting back to the basic necessities, getting back to just keeping it more simple, keeping our lives more simple. We know people have a lot of money, a lot of property, a lot of land, a lot of homes, a lot of cars. And some people that go through all of that find out that maybe that's not what they really needed, but they had it. They were here, they had the money, and they're able to enjoy it. Had the big houses, able to enjoy it. Able to go on hundreds of vacations, able to enjoy it, but less just knowing that there's something missing, something amiss in their lives, because they seem to have it all. And many of us go through that. We seem to have it all, but something is out of joint, disjointed. So we don't feel like we're thoroughly connected or thoroughly grounded. If we did, we would have this overwhelming, overflowing, abundant form of joy continuously in our lives. Sometimes we might want to sit back and just think of what is the one thing or several things that we can be thankful for. Uh, what can we really be thankful for? Well, breath, that you can breathe. Your lungs are in pretty good order. Your stomach, your liver, your spleen, your pancreas, your colon, all these things, your heart, your skin, your teeth, your ears, your eyes, your nasal passage, your feet, your hands, your body, that you can still move around. Some people are walking hunched over at certain ages, because their spine is not straight. Nothing is holding them up. Some might have some type of bone discomfort or dis-ease in their body going on, or blood dis-eases going on, or the muscles become what they call atrophied. In other words, they're not being utilized, so they become more limp. Don't have that protein in it, don't have the things that it needs so that it can function. Maybe the nerve systems feel numb, so a person doesn't feel anything. They get that numbness, they get coldness in the feet. Maybe they become more anemic as time goes on. And some people have that when they come into the planet. That's something that they choose as a hurdle to work themselves through. But beyond all of that, beyond some of the physical displeasures that we go through, there are emotional displeasures. There are mental displeasures. And we know if we don't express ourselves enough, we could either explode onto someone with temper and anger and frustration, or if you hold that in, you implode or blow up on the inside. This is where people have heart attacks and strokes. They get depressed. That's anger turned inside. They're this lulled feeling. They don't feel connected. They don't feel grounded. They're in the world, but they're not connected with anybody. Where the higher side of that is you're in the world but not of it. You're this spiritual force world, functioning in the world, yet you're not controlled by this physical world, not the man-made things. Not letting money rule you. You can make the money, but don't let money make you. Don't let money change you. Even if you find yourself happier at what you're doing, don't even let that, don't become so attached to that that changes how you treat people around you. So even the yogis talk about that, the science of detachment. But then you're working on your life about detaching from detachment. All they're saying basically it's a non-stop cycle, it's a circle that you're going through, like the sign of infinity, going up and down and back and forth in all directions, experiencing the same things. So we have to, as we know, get right with ourselves. Get right with, we all know what is individually, eventually right for ourselves. Even though I'm here and sharing this information with you, it's just a reminder about certain things that we are aware of or not aware of. But it's not written in stone, as they say. It's not the last statement, because each and one of you that's listening or watching this later, or watching it now, you see something different in it for yourself. You see yourself explore your different ways of transforming your consciousness and restoring your divinity, the true value to yourself. So what are some of the ways to work on yourself? And people have been doing it now. We've seen the last 20 years, at least the last 20 years, people get excited about changing the physical body. If we have weight issues, we're working on weight issues. If you got high blood pressure, you're working on decreasing it. You got low blood pressure, you're working on raising it up. Your metabolism has changed, you're trying to change that so your body gets back into sync with itself. So what people have been doing all these years, past 20 and 30 years, changing the way they eat, changing up on the type of foods, getting away from all the sugars and all the salt. People learning how to read the labels better, seeing the OSE on the end of those different chemicals, realizing that's some form of sugar. So look at a product, you might realize it's not just sugar when they say sugar, but they got other things in there too, dextrose and all this other stuff. That's in there, that's also related to sugar. So then you realize you got tons of sugar in something that you're eating that you don't need, which is overloading the body. Same with sodium, overloading the body. And when you get off of sodium, you get into Himalayan salt, using that, and sea salt, using that occasionally. Or not even salting your food so much. You get into where you actually can taste the salt that's naturally, the sodium that's naturally in celery. And realize, wow, you can actually taste it. Why? Because you've been cleansing your bloodstream, which is also cleansing your saliva, which is also cleansing your liver, which is also cleansing your kidneys, cleansing your colon, your intestinal tract, pancreas. You're doing all of that detoxing if you have been working on people that have a raw diet, as they say, or the vegans, or the vegetarians, okay, or the meat eaters. There's nothing wrong with all these different things, but you have to do things in moderation, and eventually you do go through various cycles of eating. You get into a state where you juice a lot, or you have smoothies. You get into a state where you're having a lot more salads and a lot more soups, but now, instead of going out and ordering them, you are making them yourselves. You're finding superfoods, and you're using the superfoods. But before you can use the superfoods, you're finding out, well, I got to clean out the plumbing system. You got to clean out that colonic tract. Because once you clean all the gunk out of there, then what? The nutrients can really start functioning. The nutrients aren't backed up in your system, fermenting in your stomach. and fermenting every place else. Now they can really work. They can now really push through your system and really get into the bloodstream and really affect the areas that need to be affected. So we learn this, and sometimes some of us learn it in a sad way. I know it happened to me. I learned it the hard way. But then I met someone who assisted me, different people along the way, who assisted me in getting back on track with my health. Do you know it? There was 2 times in my life that and I could probably say maybe 3. I know when I was in 8th grade, I weighed 200 pounds, over 200 pounds in the 8th grade. 5'5", 200 pounds. Grew a little bit in height, but still weighed it. Then got into an R&B group on the side in my senior year in high school, and moving out there under those hot lights and energy, and on the beach playing with the band. And you know what? It actually helped me streamline. I got into walking and helped me streamline, drop that weight. So by the time I got into college, I weighed at least 180. And then I got met people into vegetarianism, but we all didn't really know about it that much, but we did it anyway. And guess what? At some point, I weighed about 175 pounds from my sophomore year all the way through my senior year. And I got involved in studying some martial arts, taking martial arts classes. Well, looking forward to a martial art class twice a week, and then working out on my own in the gym or outside the dorm or wherever I could work out. It helped me. It helped me channel that energy to the point where I was consistently 175 pounds, slim, looking great. I'm not that now. I can tell you I'm about 50 pounds over that. But guess what? At one point in my life, twice, I almost weighed 300 pounds. Couldn't tell it though, but almost weighed 300 pounds. That was in 2007. I found out that I weighed 292 pounds in November of 2007. Met an elder gentleman who was in his 70s who had already been on a holistic path for 20, 25 years and helped me in 6 months knock it all the way down to 230 pounds. The only thing was I really didn't have the discipline to maintain it, and I was involved in at that time, a relationship that just wasn't working out. And I'm not blaming the other person. I'm going to blame myself because I shouldn't have been in it. But I thought I needed to be in that relationship. But eventually it didn't work out, and because I was emotionally down, didn't feel good about myself, what happened was I gained weight. I started eating again, eating a lot, walking a lot, but eating a lot of sugary stuff and a lot of salty stuff, not drinking enough water, and boom, overeating, eating larger portions, eating at the wrong time, and especially eating late at night. My weight shot up to 272. Then I met someone, a spiritual person that I started mentoring on the spiritual path, and they in turn mentored me on the health side. And before I knew it, when I met that person the latter end of around October 2008, moved myself to 2009, I moved myself to where I am right now. Being out there on the East Coast, I started living in another area, and I started walking to this park. It would take me 15 minutes to walk to the park. And when I'd walk to that park in 15 minutes, I would stay in that park for an hour and a half. Actually, I would do 45 minutes of walking or running or jogging in that park. That park had a lot of hills and a lot of valleys to it. And then I'd spend 45 minutes doing my Tai Chi afterwards with meditation. And I kept that up for a while, till eventually wasn't even aware. I went from 272 pounds all the way down to 264 pounds. Then I had moved again to another location in the East Coast, the state of New Jersey. And I was with some other friends, but I wasn't where I could walk to a bus. So I had to, I was just almost with my friends, drive me here, drive me there, because it was just so far. I didn't know the area. But I was working on myself then, and I was doing liver detoxing and kidney detoxing. When I was in my other location, I was doing a lot of colon detox. So I was doing the colon and the liver detoxing. Till I got to a point where, before I came here 3 years ago, I was down to 244 pounds. So look at that. I lost 30 pounds from over 30 pounds at 272 pounds. By that time, putting me, let's say, in 2010 at 272, all the way to 2011, in a year's time, was able to drop off 30 some odd pounds. The blessing is when I got out here. Here I am at 6,200 feet altitude now, 6,000 average altitude. Higher, the weather is different, and I'm walking just about I have everything in walking distance, every eatery. I can do, laundry facilities are nearby, cleaners are nearby, supermarket, bank, you name it. Bus. And if I need to, I can call and be with a couple other friends if they come pick me up. I can't walk in certain areas. There's no buses in certain areas. But I went from 244 in November, mid-November, because that's when I arrived. I arrived at 244 pounds, mid-November 2011. Came May 2012, I had lost 40 pounds. I had shocked myself so much that I got nervous, because I had never hit 200 pounds in such a long time, that I went back up. But I went back up to 235, and then I made my mind up. I said, I can't let my weight ride. I can't let this battle with weight and food overtake me. So I really, religiously, spiritually, with a discipline, because that's important, self-discipline, self-motivation, self-transformation leads to self-restoration. Self-motivation, self-discipline brings you self-transformation, which now brings you to self-restoration. When I hit 235, I decided I'm not going up any higher. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to I'm going to get out there. I'm going to walk. I'm going to push myself to jog. I'm going to do some crunches. I'm going to do whatever I got to do. Now, the only thing I could say, I wasn't a gym person. But why am I talking about this? I'm not just talking about me. I know that there's somebody out there in the audience that says, I'm going through that too, brother. How do you? You've got to make a decision. That's how you do it. So if you don't make a decision, that's a decision as well. Not making a decision is a decision. Here I am, age 62. I am consistently weighing, averaging about 228 pounds. This is 2014. So all of last year, I worked on that, trying to put it together, the puzzle pieces together. I juice some. I use what do you call it? Vinegar. That raw, unfiltered vinegar, apple cider vinegar, that is. I take a couple of capfuls of that. I use charcoal capsules, after every meal. My spiritual sister, little sister as I call her, got me into doing that, because she's the one who's helped me with this. She's my sister, helped me get this together. And she's done all the research, and I follow the program, and it's working. Whatever she tells me to do, I do my best to follow it. But what it really takes is when I slack off. When I slack off, it's not her fault, it's my fault. It means I got lazy. And when you get lazy, then things start imploding on you, on the inside, because you start putting too much of the thought on the inside, worrying about how am I going to get back. The best way is just get out there. Get out there in the environment. Become self-motivated. When you're self-motivated, you then become more self-disciplined. When you're more self-disciplined, you become automatically more self-motivated. When those two fuels are running just right, then you put yourself into a state of being self-transformed, transforming yourself, not only your physical appearance. To let you know, when I was almost 300 pounds twice, my waistline was 52, 54 inches. I'm down to 44, and I'm looking to bring that down more. So I'm going from a triple XL to an XL. So it works, but you got to work it. That's what late Reverend Ike used to say. In order for it to work, you got to work it. You got to work on yourself. So we know that, people are working on physical exercise. They're in the gyms every day now. You go to a gym for $10 a month if you want to be in the gym. I find that the whole environment for me is the gym. Being outdoors is the gym. So I step into that and I make it work for me. Then nutrition and supplements, things of those nature you're going to take in. You got to find the enzymes. The enzymes help eat away and build up at the same time. You got to keep yourself calm as you go through these different stages. Then you got to clean and detox your emotional body. That means you got old feelings trapped inside. Do you know if you were in an auto accident, you got physically injured 10 years ago, do you know that your muscles remember the anniversary? Even though throughout the year your cells are regenerating themselves, so that you have new cells for the liver, new cells for the pancreas. However, your etheric sympathetic body remembers the accident. It remembers what leads up to the accident, and the body starts doing something. And what do you get out of it? You start feeling a little bit of agitation, a little nervousness, feeling tired, the body is sending you signals like, hey, hold up. Let's look around. Are you about to lead me into another accident? Your body, your cells are telling you, your DNA. Are you about to lead me into crossing the street and not seeing a vehicle and get hit by a car? Or you're going to get in your vehicle, we're going to drive, and you're not going to pay attention that someone is tailgating you or in your blind spot where you can't see right or left behind you? Are we going to go through this again? Because if we are, body tenses up. If not, you will see what you need to see. So you find yourselves detoxing that emotional body, getting rid of the old hurt, the old emotional pain that was stored up in your chakra system, old feelings. Then you're going to clean and detox your mind. Can you imagine cleaning and not just detoxing? You can detox and clean the physical all day long. But if you don't feel right in the space, that means you got to do some more cleansing, right? And if you don't think right in the space, you really got to do some more cleansing. So you got to get rid of the old thoughts, the old habits, habitual thinking, the old belief systems that no longer work. You got to find out what's really true for you. And everybody in their life is working on the truth for themselves. And then find that there's a universal truth that you can plug into. And you plug into that universal truth, and that will open you up. And what are one of the universal truths? Divine love, unconditional love, gratitude, grace. To be empowered by these brings you into a state of beautification in your life, where you are transforming the way you think, the way you act, what you might take in and digest from other individuals in your environment. You know, it's all right for you to disagree with somebody. You don't have to accept everything. So you can disagree with me. You don't have to accept anything. And I'm saying if it doesn't resonate with you, so be it. It doesn't resonate with you. It may resonate with someone else. We know we have something called a body truth because when the truth hits you, hairs rise up. Body gets a little cold, a little numb. Body truth. Body knows. The spirit inside you knows. And it turns them switches on for you. You're going to find that as you detox, cleanse, clear, clean the blood traveling through it and kicking out all that other stuff out your system, you're going to find yourself what? In search of new people now. Why? Because you're going to find people that are helping you refine yourself and you are helping them refine themselves. What? To greater transformation, to greater restoration. To uplift and change your outlook, your attitude on life. To change how you think, how you act, how you perform, how you choose to receive and embrace the value, self-value, self-discipline, how to motivate, how to better love yourself. That's what it's about, how to better love yourself. Because you can love yourself better than you can love someone else even better. And what really kicks it off? What is the core underneath this? Well, the core is refining, uncovering, discovering, recovering, and defining your spiritual path. What avenue do you find? What's your venue? What do you see? What avenue are you on? What do you see? You go to work every day, the same route every day because you have to drive the same route, same interstate, same highway. When you get out there, freeway, you got to get on it, right? You're getting out on that highway, and if you go the same time, you might see the same exact people come up off the ramp from their street area right in front of you. Perfect timing. Everybody doing the same thing. Everybody. Everybody making the same turn when they go to the mall and go to see them. Everybody. But the beauty is being aware of people being around you. That's the beauty. That's because you got eyes to see. You can hear. You can taste the air. You can smell the air. You can feel the presence of people. Life. People generating life around you, generating ideas so they can go fulfill those ideas just like you are. So step in to your I amness, your God nature. The I amness, your God nature. Now, some people say that's not the way to do it. Well, if you look up the sacred name of God, that sacred name of God is going into the I am presence. The sacred name of God touches, opens up the door into the four elements of fire, air, water, earth, and then transformation, ethers, spirit. So we say, God, you're made in the image and the likeness of God. God is a spirit. You have a spirit. You're housed with a physical form around that spirit so that you can walk. When it's time for you to lay this physical form to rest, your spirit is free and you're still experiencing. But now you're transformed back into a spiritual light form and energy. It's still the intelligence. A high vibrational light is still there. It's still moving throughout the depths of the earth, of Mother Gaia. Depths of water, air, fire, earth, ethers. Still moving, still living, still breathing. So, you're stepping into this saying, I am that I am. I am that I am. So you see this. And everything has a purpose. Insects have a purpose. Animals have a purpose. And everything seeks love. Seeks to be cared for. Seeks to be recognized. You know, if you have dogs and cats in your house, they seek to be recognized. They want that affection, that energy, that attention. That you have to recognize. You can't ignore them. You have to show them. Especially you see it with dogs. Dogs feel very disconnected. Very. You around them long enough, you hear them make a sound like, "What are you doing? Why are you there? Why don't you come out here? Sit with me, play with me, pet me. Do what you got to do, but I need attention too. I have a value too, because I'm right there for you all the time. That animal's right there for you all the time. Everything is present in its moment all the time. We are just the ones that have all this extra stuff that we don't really need to utilize, and some of the extra stuff we need to put into gear to recognize, to be more aware, and more able to remember the value of everything that we see going on around us in our life. So we want to remember that God and God and you are one and the same Holy Spirit, you and God. When you have all of this going for you, you get empowered by the grace of God. The grace of God is upon you, it empowers you. You don't have to be the smartest person in the world to be graced by the presence of God. You don't have to be the wealthiest person in the world to be graced by the presence of God. You don't have to have the cleanest driving record. You can be graced by the presence of God. Why? Because you are part of the divine source. You are one of the infinite resources that come from it and come back to it. And as you do, just like the blood in your body falls through a certain path, so do you. So, this divine grace energy operates on faith and just not on what you see. So, we go through some physical things. We can go through ups and downs, get fired from a job, laid off from a job, separated in a relationship, go through a divorce in a relationship. Never see your child again, then see your child again. Go off the war, may never come back. Get lost and not be seen for a long time. Get hurt or get an illness, or pass away. But that all those things that you're going through is just what's happening on the outside because there's some inner turmoil on the inside. Do you know that sometimes when you have an accident, it's not because that person outside of you caused you to have the accident. The both of you, spirit-wise, came to some kind of agreement that somebody had to wake up, and it turned out to be both of you. So both of you had an accident. You could have sworn that you knew what was going on, but when you'd have that car taken away from you, it's sitting someplace where you can't drive it. Now you're forced to depend upon other people. This is when you learn the value of your relationships with other people, because you got to depend on others to get you where you have to go. You got to get on the bus. The bus got to take you. You may have to get on the train to go to work. Now you got to rely on another system of transportation, mode of transportation. You got to trust it. So what you're finding out is trust wasn't in there. Faith got knocked down a couple of pegs, and so did trust. You weren't paying attention. So you had to be. It's like you get an illness out of nowhere. You get tired, and then all of a sudden you got a cold. Well, it's a lot of things building up that help create that platform, that scenario for you to have that experience. So then now you're forced to really take care of yourself. So this is what I'm saying is that if we have more discipline, then we get more motivated with ourselves. Self-discipline, self-motivation, more focus on yourself. Then gets you excited. Now you're enthused. Oh man, enthusiasm. You're filling up, you're overflowing with that energy. You get really excited because you know that what you're working with is going to help you work on yourself and make yourself a better person, a better being, a better environment for the being in you to express itself. So you're going to now get empowered by the grace of God, which will now beautify your life and beautify you and create wholeness, perfection, and awareness and remembrance and greater clarity for you. Is going to what? Transform thee. Not by what you see, but what you know is happening all the time from the inside out. So what allows you to do this? So that you can expand yourself more, you got to be more creative. You got to be more self-disciplined, more motivated, more self-expressive. Be more creative. Pray more. Just don't say, woe is me, but just be more thankful. Be creative in that prayer. That's where affirmations and affirmative prayers and meditations and meditational decrees, and a decree comes in. Because a decree says, without a doubt in your mind, you know what you're saying is the truth of your being, truth of your experience, truth of what you're about to receive, truth that you already have it. You already know it. You're happier. You experienced it before. So pray more, affirm more, use more affirmative prayers. Affirmative prayers is you're praying an affirmation, meaning you know that what you've experienced, what is. We used to say back up there over in Harlem, we talk about the principle of ISIS. ISIS, what is. You see the truth, it is what it is. Truth. So, you want to meditate more. See, today's number is 31. It's about meditation. So you could better preserve yourself through what? Self-discipline, which leads to now higher vibrational levels of self-motivation, which then will step you eventually into self-transformation, which is then going to bring you into what? A state of self-restoration. You will restore yourself back to what? The pristine, clear, pure self, the spirit. Have more energy now. You become more, because when you become transformed and restored, you become rejuvenated. You can now, you're like a big transformer, big generator. You now generate energy. You don't have to use your personal energy as a healer. Now you're wide open. The divine can now flow down through you to the subject, to the target, to the area, to the earth. Opening yourself up through the heart center will open yourself up to the universe and have you have greater clarity through the universe. So here's a short meditation for you. I want you to open up the palms of your hand. If you got some water, drink some water. I am. If you have crystals around you, put crystals around you. Various gemstones. Any kind of gemstone will do. But if you have some quartz stones, use a lot of quartz, like amethyst, citrine, celestite. That's in the quartz family. Alestrial, that's in the quartz family. Clear quartz for sure, because these are amplifiers. And what you want to do is, I want you to put your palms up, so they kind of face you a little bit, but on the ridge of the hand, chopping hand, right there in your lap or on a table, face them towards you if you can, up in front of you, closer, and round out the arms. You're in a seated position, but if you were in a standing position, you would be about shoulder width apart. And this is like holding the light. And you feel the weight of your arms, but you let the weight of the arms collapse down, fall down, the shoulders fall and round out and down. And then pick your chest up just a little bit, tuck in your pelvis, and sit into the soles of your feet. And as you do that, keep your head up straight and tucked in at the chin, and eventually you can feel the cord of light, the energy flowing up and around the body. Naturally. It does that naturally. You don't have to make it do that. It does that. It's been so designed through Tai Chi and Tai Chi Chuan, Tai Chi Chuan and Chuan or Chuan and Qigong and different other forms in Kung Fu systems, and even karate systems, just to stand. And what they call a horse stance, shoulder width stance. Just let your weight sink into your legs. They have and I experienced it in Don Yoga. I think they call it sleeping tiger or sleeping lion. I'm not sure of the right name, so don't quote me on this. But there was a posture where we had to lay on our back toward the end of the class, lay on our back and put our arms up toward the ceiling and the soles of our feet toward the ceiling. And stay in that position. In that position, just to hold it for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And when you're like that, you feel gravity pulling as you're pushing up. You feel your arms shaking, your legs shaking, because it's pulling on you. But when you can do it, It's like all the blood racing back down into your body. And then you find yourself rejuvenated after that, causing all the chi that you expended to come all the way back into your body. So take this and feel energy in the palms of your hand. Just sense the center of the palms of your hand. Feel the energy there opening up in the palms of your hand. Sitting there, either resting on your lap or higher up. You can rest your elbows on the armrest of a chair, your computer chair if you have armrest. Just hold it, breathe it, take it in, hold it, breathe it, and then relax. Just feel that tingling sensation radiating out of the center of your palms back towards your body. Using a little visualization there. See electrical impulses flowing back between your fingers and your thumbs, shooting back and forth, soothing and passing through each other, winding up in front at the heart center, and also behind you, behind the heart center. So see the energy here on the outside of you, flowing around the back and settling down opposite the heart center in front of the sternum. And then the inner area of the palms and hands coming in front. So you're solidifying both. And then at this point, envision the energy just coming down out of the ceiling, out of the universe, cascading down the front part of your body through the heart center, going into the solar plexus, into the just to the space, the lower dantian, just beneath the navel, settling past, going in down through the genitalia, through the anus region, and back up the spine, and over the spine, and into our heart center. And feel it just going down the front, and then the energy gathering through the front and rolling around the back. Just feel it. Just feel that whole motion of energy. Think of it like you're holding a ball pressing